So listen, what if I told you that success was predictable? What if I told you that even though success is predictable, so is failure? Here's a thought that crossed my mind, and I wasn't going to actually put this out. It was just really some random thoughts, but I realized that I'm not the only one that has dealt with this in life. And I want to share something with you, right? You may be doing all the right things. You may be thinking at least that you're doing all the right things, and it seems like success keeps running away from you. And I want to share with you why that is. And I wrote a thought down and I want to expound on it for a second. But here's the truth. Here's the reality. Pause. Before I go into the truth or the reality, I tell people all the time, usually my clients, I tell them this: listen, you can deny facts all day long, but you can never deny the truth. I'll say it again. You can deny facts all day long, but what you can't do is deny the truth. And so I'm gonna share a truth with you that is gonna be a hard thing to really accept until you really made a decision that you're tired of playing the game at this level. And here's the thing, okay? The reason that you're not having success on a consistent basis is not because of what you're telling people or your boys or your dogs in public, but it's what you are telling yourself in private. I'll say it again. The reason that you are not having success on a consistent basis is not because of what you're saying in public, although that's a factor, but the issue is what you are telling yourself in private. What am I talking about? Who you are in private is completely different than the person you are in public. And the truth of the matter is the ones that are willing to listen to the lies are the ones that you probably need to get away from because they are actually keeping you stagnant in life. Ooh. And sometimes that's like your closest friend. Sometimes that's even your family. It could even probably be a loved one. But here's the interesting thing: you are the one that has to make a decision on where you're going to go. You're going to go left, you're going to go right, you're going to move forward. What are you going to do in order to seize the success that you say you want? Because I'm going to tell you right now, you are you're out of alignment with who you say you are and who you really are. Like who you say you are in public doesn't match the person that you are in private. Listen, I just be honest with you. There are several times when I thought that I was the same guy in private that I was in public until Jock, my wife, had to pull me to the side, was like, "Yeah, you lacking in this area big time." And I'm sitting here like, who are you to tell me that I'm lacking? But then I gotta check myself, like, yo, this is my wife. She knows me better than anybody other than God, right? She will pull me to the side sometime and be like, listen, I'm gonna just be real with you. In this area right now, you trash. And now imagine this. Imagine this. My wife telling me that I'm trash in some areas, but I had to listen to it. And I still do, right? When she tells me that I'm lacking in the area, I can't be so egotistical and be like, yeah, whatever. You deal with you. And I'm look, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm one that be like, listen, you go deal with yourself first. But the reality of it is, God gave her to me for a reason. I chose her as a wife for a reason. As a matter of fact, scripture, truth, reminds us that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. So if I neglect and completely reject what she's telling me, I am literally telling God that I don't want your favor in my life. Oh, that's a different video for a different time. But I want you to hear what I just said. If I reject the wisdom that my wife is sharing with me, I'm telling God that I don't want his favor on my life. Okay, we're gonna deal with it at some point, but right now ain't the way. All right, now ain't the time. But listen, I wanna bring this truth to you real quick for those that think that they can be one person in private and a completely different person in public. The young folks, they what they say, you capping, right? Like, listen, you got to get to the point where you stop capping in your life. Like, be truthful about who you are when nobody's watching, and that same person got to be in alignment with. So the same person that you are in private has to be the same person that you are in public, right? And I trust me, Trust me, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not about to go on here and or come on here and give you four different tips on how to recognize it. Listen, you know what I'm talking about. There are some areas in your life that you really, really have to get in order if you're going to see success at another level. But I want to read this scripture for you real quick. It's from James chapter 1, and it starts at verse 20. I'm going to start at verse 22. Verse 22, it says this. It says, "But be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves." Let me stop there for a second. So, this ain't even about you deceiving somebody else. This is about you deceiving yourself. When you deceive yourself, there's nothing that nobody or anybody can tell you that's going to get you to get back on track if you don't stop deceiving yourself. Okay, watch. "But be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in the mirror." Listen to this. "For he observes himself, goes away, and immediately forget what kind of man he was." Verse 25, "But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer but a doer of the work, this one will be blessed in what he does." So, what did I get for that? Well, what did I get from that? Number one, obey the principles of God. No matter what it looks like, no matter how difficult it is sometimes to go back and revisit some of the things that have kept you stagnant in life, some of the unforgiveness that you're holding on to, the grudges that you're holding on to, people that you think did you wrong. Maybe they did, but listen, you got to let it go because it is blocking your success. It says it right here. It says it again, verse 25, "But he who looks into the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not a forgetful hearer but a doer of the work." A doer of the work. A doer of the work. What work? Whatever work is required in order for you to get in position to have the success that God has preordained for you to have. This one will be blessed in what he does. So, is it possible then that you are the conduit of the barrier that is keeping you from success? I'll ask again. Are you the conduit are you the conduit of the bearer that's keeping you from success? Only you can acknowledge that truth. And it's not until you acknowledge that truth where everything begins to change for you. Success is predictable, but so is failure. Success is predictable, but so is failure. Deal with the inner things. Deal with the you have to do the inner work in order for you to get the outward reward. One more time. You have to deal with the inner work in order for you to have the outer reward. Quick thought. I had to get it off my chest. It was on my mind. I wrote it down and I said, man, I have to share this with the people because somebody's dealing with this. I know because usually if I jump on here just out of the blue like this, is because there's a pool and I need to get this information out. I need to get this message out. I need to get this truth out. So hopefully this right here was value added to you. I want to know what you are not necessarily dealing with, but I want to know how I can help you break through the things that have kept you stagnant for so many years. It's time. Listen to me, y'all. It is time for people to experience the gift that God has placed on the inside of you, but you got to get all of this junk out. There's no way we can experience you in your full capacity as long as you're holding on to the gunk and the junk in your life. So please, for the sake of everybody that is directly or indirectly tied to your purpose, I am asking you to get the junk out of your life. Deal with the inner work so that you can experience the outer reward. That's all I have for tonight. Listen, go ahead and chime in. Let me know what you got out of this or even add to it. Let's keep the conversation going. But until the next time, I want you to remember, as always, is that when you are living in your purpose, there's no such thing as competition. We'll talk on the next one.